Now let's add a high score text, and our high score text is just going to be a quick copy of our score text. We'll go into our score text file, and I'm actually going to delete out our start method here completely, clear that all out, and make ourselves a nice short class. Now I'm going to show you another way to create classes, a way that I normally do it when I want to create new C# code. I'm going to copy this class completely, everything from line 6 to 12. Hold down Control and hit C to put it onto my clipboard, or you can always right click and choose the copy option if you prefer it that way. Go down below and hit Control V to paste it. And then I'm going to change the name of this one on line 14 so that it's not an exact copy. Instead of being score text, I'm going to name it HighScore text. I'm going to hit Alt Enter and hit Move Type to HighScoreText.cs. This will actually move the file or the class into its own file named HighScoreText.cs. Let's minimize Visual Studio, go into Unity, and you should see as it recompiles, the new file will appear here. I've got a high score text. Again, remember there's a little slider here so you can go to list view and big view or big icon view so you can see models and images and icons, or if you can want to see file names and long lists, you can switch back and forth. Here I can see I've got my high score text though. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to make one change to it. Instead of reading the moving blocks score, I'm going to read the moving blocks high score. Now, that doesn't exist, so I expect to see a red underline. There it is. I've got my error, and I just need to go fix it. I'm going to save this file, though, and then I'm going to go into my moving block. Right here, I've got a score. I'm going to select the entire line, copy it. I'm going to go down to the next line, paste with Control V, and then hit Enter. Add in the word high here. So now I have a high score, and everything is almost done. The last thing I need to do is modify my high score. If I save this and I go back over to that high score text, you'll see that the error is gone. Everything would kind of work here if I started to use this, except high score is always 0. In fact, let's go set that up. Let's make high score show up as 0, and then let's figure out the simple logic to make high scores work. We'll go back into Unity, and we're going to create a high score text object. First, I'll let it recompile. We'll go to our score text here, this text object. I'm going to zoom out, right mouse button to drag around, and I'm going to name this score text. So I'm going to click in here, go over to the left, name this score text, and I'll leave the TMP. And then I'm going to duplicate it. So I select it over here, Control D or Command D, and then I want to realign this so that it's centered here. This is going to be my high score, so I'll select my Rect Transform tool, hold down Alt and Shift, and hit this center alignment. I'm going to name this high score text. So I'll go to the beginning, high score text. I'll get rid of that extra 1 there. And then I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. I want my high score to be a little bit smaller. Maybe I'll make this a font size of like 100 or something. And then I'll center align it right there. And I think I even want to add in a little bit of an outline. And I'm going to vertically center it there too. Drag this up just a little bit to shrink it. I think that looks good. Now let's add a little bit of an outline while we're at it too. Pretty things up. To add an outline, I can scroll down here below my score text here that I've got, which I need to remove in a moment. I have some options for my text. I've got an outline, an underlay, and some other options here. If I switch this off of mobile from TextMesh Pro mobile distance field to TextMesh Pro distance field, I can even get more options. But for now, I just want to check the outline box and drag up a border to get myself a nice little outline. I don't want to modify it too much. Next thing I want to do is remove this score text component because I duplicated my score. I have that on there. I want to remove it and then add in the high score text. We'll hit play and watch what happens with our scores. The high score should stay at 0 and the score should go up as the blocks go past. Let's watch and see. There we go. Looks good. Let's stop playing now and finish it up. To finish our high score, we'll need to jump back into code one more time and open up our moving block script. In our moving block, after we've updated the score, or after we've scored a point, or 3 points is really what we're going to end up getting, but after we score, we want to check to see if our current score is greater than our high score. To do that, we'll make another if statement. We'll just add in 2 lines here and say if the score is greater than the high score. The greater than symbol is just that right arrow. If the score on the left is greater than the high score, then we'll run some code afterwards. We'll specify that code in the nice little squiggly braces, and that code will just be high score equals score. So whenever the score is higher than the high score will become the score. We'll just update the high score and keep it updated. I'm going to save with Control S. Watch that little star disappear there, meaning that I've saved my file. And then let's jump back into Unity and see if it works. Now I expect my high score to start off at 0 and then go up as my score increases. Let's just check and see if I get 3 points and then 6 there. And then I'll just let myself die. There we go, I got up to 9. Let's see if I get to 12 points if the high score updates, and make sure that it doesn't update before that. So it stays at 9, still at 9, still at 9, and then it goes to 12, and then eventually up to 15. I'm going to stop playing now and change one last thing. In the high score, I want it to say the words high score. I don't want it to just say the number 100. Let's write that out. High score space 100. I want it to be nice and long like that. This doesn't fit very well though, so let's make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to increase the width to maybe 800, and then let's shrink the font size down to something like 80. There we go, that fits a little bit better. I'll save that off and we'll make a change to our code now so that we get this high score text before our score. Because if we hit play now, let's just do it real quick, we should expect to see that that text just goes straight to a 0. Blah, that's not what we want. We want the high score text. So let's open up our code file now, that high score text file. We can double click on it right here to do that. And then we're going to make one change. In our set text method, currently we pass in the high score and we convert it to a string. Instead of doing that, we're going to concatenate two strings together. To do that, we can just add in quotation marks and then the word high score. There we go, high score. I'll add a colon just for looks, and then a space and another quotation mark. Then I'll put a plus, and then go to the end of the word high score, and I can get rid of that to string in the open close parentheses. This will combine the word high score with the value and just put them into one nice long string. Let's save that off, hit play, and see if it works. So I should expect to see my high score to show up as 0 and then increase as we get higher scores. All right, here we are. We're jumping, getting a high score. Got 3 points, got 6 points, and 9, and things are going to start to get a lot harder, a lot faster, up to 15, 18, and my score is going to keep going up. And you can see now look at that, I just died. Oh no. Well, at least I had fun, right? I made it and I had a lot of fun building it, and I hope that you did too. Hopefully you can see how easy it is to build a video game now and get inspired to build some of your own stuff.